Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to NBA Got Game TV, and as always, thanks for tuning in. If you follow my channel on a regular basis, then you know that there are a couple of NBA players that I'm just a huge fan of. Talking about Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Shawn Kemp, Charles Barkley, Penny Hardaway, just to name a few. But there's this other guy that I never used to be a big fan of in the early 1990s and the late 1980s. But the older I get, for whatever reason, I just love this guy more and more. And the guy that I'm talking about is Larry Bird. Actually, I got a confession to make. He actually made it to my top 5 list of all time. And in this video, I'm gonna explain why. But before we start with this video, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Also underneath the video, you will see a link to my Facebook page. Likes are really appreciated. And I would say let's start the video. So the first reason that I'm going to start with is his clutchiness, but also maybe known as his winner gene. If you think about the Boston Celtics, especially in the 1980s, you think of a great franchise, winning a lot of games and also winning NBA championships. But what many people seem to forget is that before Larry Bird came to the Boston Celtics, they weren't doing too good. To be precise, in the 1979-1980 season, they only won 29 games. Just in comparison, in his rookie season, they actually won 61 games, so he changed the entire franchise around. And if there's one thing that started in his rookie career, but actually went on till the end of his career, was that he was making shots when the game was on the line and when it mattered.
A lot of players in this league that can score the first 3 quarters of the game, but you get down to the fourth quarter when you need a basket, you can separate the men from the boys. It's been like that, and it's always going to be like that. You're always going to have the guys that come up with the attitude that they can make the last shot or make the big play. I don't know what makes a player do that, just their competitive nature and their will to win. And if it comes down to one shot, I want to be the guy to take it.
Bird, Larry, fake, fall away. Hits it!
Boston wins became a familiar phrase around the NBA when Larry Bird joined the Boston Celtics in 1979. In his first season, Bird helped the resurgent Celtics improve their record by 32 wins. And a year later, against the Houston Rockets, he led Boston to the NBA championship.
His own shot. Oh, what a point. Now, Larry, as soon as he shot that...
It was, however, in the conference finals that year that Bird experienced his baptism as a master of the clutch moment. Trailing the Philadelphia 76ers 3-1, Bird helped rally Boston, hitting the winning shot as time wound down in the 7th and deciding game to lead the Celtics to victory over the 76ers.
And the next reason on my list is Larry Bird's toughness. If you take 5 minutes to check out some videos on YouTube and just type in Larry Bird and hustle plays, you will see that this guy sacrificed his body big time. And not only in his younger days, but actually even in the fall of his career when his body was damaged like crazy, he was still hustling for every loose ball. And this is just a quality that not many NBA players have, especially on superstar status.
When I first came in the league, Artis Gilmore told me one time, he played for Chicago, he said, if you expect to play a long time in this league, you better quit mopping up the floor. And I thought, well, he's crazy, because that's what basketball is all about. We're getting a little bit older now and feeling the bangs and the bumps and bruises and all that. I can see where he's coming from, but I can't change my style of play.
And the next reason, basketball IQ and trash-talking skills. Larry Bird was never known to be the greatest jumper, or maybe not even known to be one of the best athletes. Actually, this guy couldn't jump at all. But he was such a smart player, always knowing how to score, always knowing how to play the game the right way. You just got to talk to some of his former coaches. Talking about his trash-talking skills, some players need a trash talk in order to get them going, but Larry Bird just did it strategically.
Here he was out there with a quarter of black guys out there talking trash with him, and the rest of the fellas are sitting there going, hey, the boy bad, what can you say? You know, and I think what America saw in this guy was somebody who really didn't see race.
If you put all of us in a room, you know, Magic, Jordan, myself, and Bird probably be the guy who walks out of the room at the end of the day.
Bird. We had a three-point contest at the All-Star break, and Larry walks in and says, I hope all you guys in here are thinking about second place because I'm winning this. Excuse me? And he started shooting, and he just didn't miss.
Larry was the originator of getting in your face and talking trash. And then you sit there and you go, this guy up in my face talking noise. He ain't that fast, he's slow. But he knew how to aggravate you, agitate you enough to get you out of your game.
I was guarding him my rookie year. He looked at me and he goes, you can't stop me. And I looked at him and I said, gosh, boy, you're so confident. He was confident? You're a rookie. You don't know anything. He proceeded to score like 10 straight points on me. The coach took me out the game. He walks by and he's laughing at me.
Larry Bird catches the ball in the corner. I take off running out at Larry Bird. And right when he's getting ready to shoot, I jump, and as I go by, him, he tells me, he says, fly, Bird, and I go right by him, he shoots the ball, it's nothing but nylon.
Larry Bird was a pain in the neck. Anytime we had a chance to win, Larry Bird changed that.
Larry Bird follows his own shot. Oh, what a play!
There was a certain confidence you had because, you know, if you ever got in trouble, give the ball to Larry and get out of his way, and he delivered.
The double team in Bird. Larry, fake, fall away.
And the next reason on my list is Larry Bird's all-around basketball skills. If you take a look at Larry Bird's stats, you will see that this guy not only was a great scorer and a great shooter, but he was a great rebounder, a great passer. Even though he wasn't the fastest guy on the court, always a great defender, so this guy could do it all on the court.
Coming through in pressure situations would become commonplace for Bird. But in truth, the legend of Larry Bird really took root almost from the first moment he stepped onto an NBA court.
Bird's the best passing forward that's ever played the game.
Bird's passes, you know, they aren't passes to show you up or flashy. They're just real, you know, subtle boom.
And in terms of personality, he's a throwback because he is diving for balls, 20 points up with 2 minutes to go.
He goes down. Larry Bird dives for a loose ball and gets it to McHale.
It starts after hitting a few baskets. You know, you just get that feeling that you just can't miss. You know, the great players get it a lot more than the average players. I mean, I see it happen with Larry Bird more often than any other player in the league.
That's why I play, you know, because you want to have them days where everything goes right for you, either passing, shooting, or playing good defense. And once it does, you don't feel like anybody could ever stop you.
Once he experienced the taste of excelling under pressure, Bird never looked back. 3 straight times in the mid-'80s, he was voted the league's most valuable player. The initial one coming in 1984, when the Celtics faced Magic Johnson's LA Lakers in the first of their epic playoff battles in the 80s.
And the next reason on my list is, what do NBA legends say? You know, as a fan, you always have the eye test and you see the stats and everything, and you have your own opinion. But to be totally honest, you never know how good a player actually was because you never competed against him. But this is where it's really interesting hearing the opinion of guys who actually played against Larry Bird.
Who was the best player you played against?
Oh, man.
Whether you guarded him or just it was a different position?
The best center, the best guy I played against might have been, Larry Bird. someone like that.
How good was
Michael
Bird?
Jordan.
I don't think people
don't
look at him and
appreciate
think,
they
he's
said,
a white guy,
he's
slow guy.
a chubby white guy. He wore us out, man. You know, because he just, this muscle here, the one between his ears, that was his best, you know, because he made the three-pointers and he had assists and rebounded, steals. He was always at the right place at the right time on the court. You know, one of the great players, I had the opportunity.
Jerry West, all those years we played the Celtics, never went back to Boston. Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, all those guys that lost. And then you got that arrogant, cocky Larry Bird, trash-talking all the time.
And was he really arrogant? Was he really, really arrogant?
Well, yeah, he could back it up. So when you're arrogant and you can back it up, you're not arrogant, you're just good. And Larry was good.
Bird is a psychologically assassin.
In what way, though, man? You say that, how?
How can a person jump this high and out-rebound you? How can a person just move you that way and make you a deficiency?
Right.
How can a person jump and just, when we practice, he would be running around Boston Garden while we was practicing.
That was psychological.
And we was watching him running around in the Boston Garden. And it was like, why are you running?
And the last reason on my list is Larry Bird's iconic games. If you think of NBA legends like, for example, Michael Jordan, there are just some games that come to mind right away, like, for example, the flu game. But Larry Bird also has a couple of those games which were incredible.
Larry told all of us and the media, he said, tomorrow night's the last game of the trip. I'm going to play this one left-handed.
There's Bird. 10-6. Bird against Kersey.
Hey, are you an old school NBA fan? Well, then our channel, The Basketball Time Machine, is the right channel for you. On our show, we feature NBA players from the 80s, the 90s, and the early 2000s, talking about the good old NBA days. Former NBA players telling their stories of Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Penny Hardaway, Grant Hill, Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, and many, many more. So if you miss old school NBA, just click on our channel, the BTM, The Basketball Time Machine, subscribe to our channel, and let's bring the good old days back.